Hello, welcome. I am Dr. Corbett. I appreciate you taking some time to come in today and speak with me, Alex. Can you tell me how you're feeling today?
Hi, Dr. Corbett. I'm a bit nervous, but I'm okay.
That's completely understandable to be nervous. This is our first session. You know, it's natural to feel a bit anxious. But our goal today is to get you to get to know you a little bit better and understand what brings you here. So we're going to start with some basic information and then kind of move on to more detailed questions. Does that sound okay?
Yes, that's fine.
Awesome, wonderful. So can you start off by telling me your full name and your age?
My name is Alex Johnson, and I'm 30 years old.
Nice to meet you, Alex. So can you tell me what brings you here today?
I've been feeling really overwhelmed and anxious lately. I'm not sleeping well, and I've been having a lot of trouble concentrating at work.
Yeah, that definitely sounds very challenging, and I'm sorry to hear that. Can you tell me how long you've been feeling this way?
Started a few months ago, but it's gotten worse over the past few weeks.
Okay, thank you for sharing that with me. So before we dive a bit deeper into your current situation, I'm going to do a couple small memory exercises throughout. So is that okay with
Yeah.
you? Okay. So I'm going to name three objects for the first one, and after I say them, I'm going to have you repeat them and then remember them because later on I'm going to ask you to recall them. Okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. So the three words are ball, car, man. Can you repeat those for me?
Ball, car, man.
Fantastic. All right. So let's continue. Earlier, or a couple moments ago, you mentioned feeling overwhelmed and having trouble and concentrating and sleeping. Can you tell me a little bit more about your sleep patterns?
I'm having a hard time falling asleep, and when I do, I wake up multiple times during the night. I just always feel exhausted all the time.
That sounds really tough, especially when sleep, impacts everything in your life, right? So, can you tell me how your mood is during the day?
I'm irritable and just feel down most of the time. It's affecting my relationships too.
I'm sorry you're going through this, Alex. So, it's important to understand the broader picture to see how all of these factors might be interconnected um, and, overall impact your life. So, can you tell me about any significant events or changes in your life recently that happened?
Well, I recently went through a breakup and work has been really stressful. My workload has increased and I don't feel supported by my managers.
Okay, okay. So, breakups and increased stress at work can certainly take a toll, and I appreciate you sharing that with me. Before we go any further, I'd like to ask you a few more questions for a moment to better understand your current state. Is that okay? Okay,
Yes.
so first question, can you tell me what year we're in?
2024.
Wonderful. And can you tell me what season it is?
We are in summer.
Awesome. And can you tell me what month this is?
June,
Great. And can you tell me today's date?
June 9th.
Wonderful. And what day of the week is it, Alex?
Sunday.
Awesome. Wonderful. I understand these can be a little silly getting asked such simple questions, but I appreciate your help with this part of the process. So I have just a few more questions for you, and then we're going to dive a little bit deeper into the history and more about you, okay?
Okay.
So the first question for you is to tell me the setting that we are currently in.
We are in your office.
Wonderful. And what city are we in?
Philadelphia,
Cool. And finally, what country are we in?
the United States.
Great, great, Alex. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for taking some time to answer those questions. So we're going to go a little bit more into your background now. Can you tell me about your physical health or any chronic conditions or recent illnesses that you've been experiencing?
Yeah, well, I'm generally healthy, but I've been feeling more fatigued and I have had some headaches
Okay,
lately.
okay. And how about your personal and social life? Any close friends or family that you can rely on?
I have a few close friends, but I don't see them as much as I used to. My family lives out of state and we're not very close.
Okay, so it sounds like you might be feeling a little bit isolated. Is that correct?
Yes, that's true.
Okay, thank you for sharing that, Alex. To help me get a complete picture, can you tell me about any past traumas or significant life events that may have impacted you?
Yeah, I had a rough childhood. My parents divorced when I was young and there was a lot of physical fighting at home. I also lost a close friend in college, which really was hard for me.
I'm really sorry to hear about those experiences. They must have been rather difficult for you, and maybe impacting you now. So we're definitely going to work on how these past events may be impacting your day to day now. So let's go. Let's stop for a minute and let's go back to the memory exercise that I mentioned earlier. Can you tell me the three objects that I asked you to remember?
Ball, car, man.
Awesome. Wonderful. Excellent. So let's get a bit more detailed about what's going on. So earlier you mentioned feeling overwhelmed and experiencing trouble with sleep and concentration. Can you walk me through a typical day for you?
Sure. I usually wake up feeling tired because I haven't slept well. I drag myself to work, where I struggle to focus and get my work deadlines done. But the time I get home, I'm exhausted, but still can relax and sleep properly. I don't have much energy for social activities, so I mostly just stay home.
Okay. That sounds very draining. And can you tell me how this has been impacting your performance at work?
My performance has definitely suffered. I missed a few deadlines and made some mistakes. My manager has noticed, and it's only adding to my stress.
That sounds like a lot to handle, Alex. You mentioned feeling irritable and down most of the time. Have you mentioned any changes in your appetite or weight?
I've noticed a bit of weight because I don't have much of an appetite. Often skipped meals because I'm too tired or just not hungry.
Hmm. Okay, well, thank you for sharing that, Alex. Um, I know some of these questions can be hard, but I appreciate all of your responses. Like I said, it's important to get a full picture. So let's talk a little bit more about your support system. You mentioned having a few close friends, but not seeing them, very often. Can you tell me a little bit more about your social interactions?
Yeah, I used to hang out with my friends more, but lately I've been isolating myself. I don't feel like going out or doing much of anything.
Mm-hmm.
They've noticed and tried to reach out, but I just don't have the energy.
Okay. It sounds like you're, feeling again a little bit isolated, feeling alone. So, how do you usually cope with, stress or difficult emotions?
I used to go for runs or play video games to relax, but lately I haven't felt like doing any of that. I mostly just watch TV and try to get some sleep.
Okay. Okay. So it sounds like you're struggling to engage in activities maybe that you used to enjoy. So, thank you for being so open about that. And I think this gives us a good starting point. So, based on what you shared today, it sounds like you're dealing with significant anxiety, and emotional pain that may be linked to recent personal and professional challenges. So we're going to explore those areas a little bit more in depth in our future sessions to develop a plan that can help you manage these kind of feelings and improve your overall being. Does that sound okay?
Yes, it does. Thank you, Dr. Corbett.
Awesome. You are welcome, Alex, and I appreciate your openness today. Before we wrap things up, is there anything else you'd like to share or any questions you have for me?
Not right now, but I'm sure I'll have questions as we continue.
That is perfectly a-okay. So we're going to take it one step at a time, as we do every day, right? And I look forward to working with you. Take care, and we will meet again next week, okay?
Thank you, Dr. Corbett. See you soon.
Awesome. All right. So based on our first session with Alex, she is 34 years old, and the reason she was here today is because she's being presented with feelings of feeling overwhelmed, having increased anxiety, difficulty sleeping, and she's having trouble concentrating at work. These symptoms have progressively been getting worse over the past couple months, and they have significantly affected her daily functioning and her overall well-being. So, regarding Alex's physical health, she's reported feeling generally healthy but has increased fatigue and frequent headaches lately, along with some difficulty sleeping. She has mentioned a noticeable weight loss due to her decreased appetite, and this has resulted in skipping meals. The decline in her physical health seems to be closely linked to her current emotional distress and her poor sleep quality. Now, regarding Alex's personal and social history, she did recently go through a breakup, and this has been a major source of stress for her, as she stated. Additionally, her workload at her job has also increased, and she also feels unsupported by her manager, and this can be contributing further to her stress levels. She does have a few close friends, but she's been isolating herself from them due to her lack of energy and her interest in social activities. Now, regarding her family, they do live out of state, and their relationship is not very close, and this could be adding to her sense of isolation. So, regarding her emotional and her relational history, She described a very challenging childhood marked by physical fighting, parental conflict, divorce, and these have most likely contributed to her current emotional vulnerabilities. Also, the loss of a close friend during her college years was another significant traumatic event, which could have profoundly impacted Alex and her current state. Regarding any recent events that Alex has experienced, she had her recent breakup and the increased demands of work. These have significantly heightened Alex's stress levels, and she also, reported feeling unsupported, overwhelmed at work, and this has negatively impacted her performance. And this has also, she did state that it resulted in missing deadlines and making more mistakes at her job. Now, regarding at home, her inability to relax and her poor sleep hygiene have increased her feelings of exhaustion and irritability. And the combination of these factors has led to a cycle of stress, poor sleep, a declining work performance, and these all have further contributed to Alex's overall sense of distress. Now, regarding Alex's biopsychosocial backgrounds, biologically, her symptoms of fatigue, headaches, and weight loss indicate a significant physical toll from her emotional distress. Now, psychologically, her sense of childhood trauma and significant loss have likely contributed to a predisposition for anxiety and depressive symptoms. And lastly, socially, her sense of isolation due to her distant family relationships and her decreased social interaction with her friends have increased feelings of loneliness and stress. Now, regarding the mini mental status exam, during the session, Alex successfully completed the three questions that I asked her on the mini mental status exam. She was able to recall three objects: ball, car, and man. Later on, when she repeated them, there was a slight delay, but this indicates that she has intact short-term memory. She accurately identified the year, the season, the month, the date, the day of the week, the location that we were in, the city, and our country. This indicates that her cognitive functions are intact despite the emotional and physical stress that she's experiencing. And overall, Alex is dealing with significant emotional distress that's linked to recent personal and professional challenges. Her current symptoms of anxiety, depression, and physical health decline reflect the impact of these stressors. In therapy, the primary goals will be to provide a supportive space for Alex to explore these issues, develop effective coping strategies, and improve her overall well-being. Specific areas of focus will include improving her sleep hygiene, re-engaging in previous enjoyed activities, enhancing her social support network, and addressing underlying emotional pain from past traumas.